Welcome to the Accessibility Services module on low vision and blindness disabilities. Low vision and blindness, LV-B, are terms that are used to identify different types of visual disabilities related to full or partial vision loss acquired at birth or later in life. There are a variety of terms that individuals who have experienced vision loss may use to characterize their vision-related identity. An individual with vision loss may use adaptive technology, assistive technology, and devices, alternative formats, personal supports, and/or service animals to engage in both daily life and academics. Each person's lived experience with low vision and blindness and the impact on their academic well-being and personal wellness will be unique. Flexibility and open-mindedness is key. Learning about low vision and blindness disabilities and enhancing your skill set to manage your academics more effectively may be new and overwhelming. Keep it simple and begin by following the 10 tips for success. Tip number 1. Develop to-do lists that include balanced thoughts, mindfulness activities, goals, and rewards. Tip number 2. Schedule tasks at specific times of day and track your focus, fatigue, and productivity. Tip number 3. Modify the location and set up your workspace to support your health and well-being. Tip number 4. Utilize assistive software to change the formatting of readings to reflect your visual learning needs. Tip number 5. Use text-to-speech software and/or a screen reader with your readings, lecture notes, and slides. Tip number 6. For digital resources, use a second external monitor, magnification, add-ons, or supports. For handwritten information, use a touchscreen device or a handheld or desktop magnification device. Tip number 7. For group projects, divide up the workload based on each member's strengths and assets. Tip number 8. Connect with your instructor regularly for consistent feedback. Be sure to create a meeting agenda and record the meeting. Tip number 9. Practice mock testing and timing self while working on problem sets and midterms. Tip number 10. Engage in wellness breaks and allot time to review your work. Tip number 1. To improve personal wellness, create to-do lists that include balanced thoughts, mindfulness activities, along with daily and weekly goals or rewards. Tip number 2. When reviewing your schedule, keep track of your focus, fatigue, and productivity. It may also be helpful if you schedule tasks at specific times of day and to keep a record of how long each task took and why. Tip number 3. Modify the location and setup of your workspace to better support your health and wellness and to promote active engagement in academics. For example, work in a quiet indoor space with an adaptive setup and access to assistive technology. Tip number 4. Use assistive software to revise the format of readings to reflect your visual learning needs. Example, modify the font size, spacing, page, and font color. Tip number 5. Consider using text-to-speech software and/or a screen reader to have your readings, lecture notes, and assignments read out loud and to track your place and minimize screen fatigue. Tip number 6. For digital content, utilize a second external monitor in addition to the magnification, additions, or supports. For handwritten information, consider a touchscreen device that allows you to zoom in on content or use a handheld or desktop magnification device. Tip number 7. To encourage meaningful participation in group work, consider dividing up the workload amongst group members based on each other's strengths and assets. Tip number 8. Be sure to connect with your instructor regularly for consistent feedback. It may also be helpful to create a meeting agenda and to record meetings with the approval of all participants. Tip number 9. Practice mock testing and timing self while working on problem sets and midterms to identify how long you need to complete the questions and to engage in strategies that support your well-being in a testing scenario. Tip number 10. Break tests down into timed sections to promote taking regular wellness breaks to slow the rate of work and to allot for time to review your work to reduce the frequency of errors. Remember, keep it simple and use the 10 tips for success to enhance your skill set and develop a learning plan that is right for you. For more information on how to access services and supports through accessibility services, including information on learning strategies and troubleshooting in the online environment, please register for Accessibility Services Learn course and subscribe to the Accessibility Services YouTube channel.